Netflix helped me catch my missing daughter of 4 years. I came home from the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon and did what I always did. I set the bags on the counter, kicked off my shoes, and turned on Netflix to have something playing in the background while I put everything away. The TV flickered to life, already logged into our family account. That's when I saw it. A profile I didn't recognize. The icon was a generic blue circle, and the name read, Guest. My stomach did a small flip. We'd had issues with account sharing before. My son had given the password to a friend who'd given it to someone else. I'd changed the password 6 months ago and deleted all the extra profiles. This one shouldn't exist. I opened the profile. The continue watching list showed 3 episodes of a reality show I'd never heard of, all watched within the past week. The most recent one had been streaming just 20 minutes ago, paused at the 34-minute mark. I checked the account settings. No new devices had been authorized. No login notifications in my email. Whoever was using this profile had access from before I changed the password, or they'd found another way in. I called my son, David. He answered on the 3rd ring with loud music in the background. Hey mom, what's up? Did you give our Netflix password to anyone recently? No, you told me not to after last time. Why? There's a profile on our account I don't recognize. It's been active this week. Weird. Maybe dad made it? Your father barely knows how to work the remote. He didn't make a mystery profile. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it's a glitch or something. I hung up and stared at the screen. The profile showed viewing history going back 11 days. Always late at night, between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Always the same types of shows. Reality TV, true crime documentaries, cooking competitions. The pattern felt deliberate, human, not a glitch. I grabbed my laptop and logged into Netflix from there. The guest profile appeared on my computer too, with the same watch history. I clicked through the account activity log, looking at IP addresses and device information. Everything showed as coming from devices in my own house. My smart TV, my laptop, David's old iPad we kept in the kitchen. The iPad. I walked to the kitchen and found it plugged in next to the coffee maker where it always sat. We used it for recipes and music while cooking. I never thought about it being connected to Netflix. I opened the Netflix app. The guest profile was selected. I checked the recently watched list. That reality show was paused at 34 minutes, exactly where the TV had shown it. Someone had been watching Netflix on this iPad in my kitchen 20 minutes ago, while I was at the grocery store, while my house was supposed to be empty. My husband was at work. David was at college 3 hours away. Nobody else had keys to our house. I walked through every room slowly, listening for any sound that didn't belong. The house was silent, empty. I checked the doors and windows. Everything was locked from the inside. I went back to the kitchen and stared at the iPad. The profile had been created 11 days ago according to the account settings. I tried to remember where I'd been 11 days ago. What had been different? Nothing came to mind. Just normal days, normal routines. I opened the Ring app on my phone and started scrolling through the camera footage from our front door. We'd installed it 2 years ago after a package theft in the neighborhood. I scrolled back through the past 11 days, watching the timestamps. I saw myself leaving for work, coming home, getting the mail, my husband doing the same, David visiting last weekend, the usual delivery drivers. Nothing unusual until I reached 8 days ago. The footage showed the front door opening at 1:47 a.m. Nobody walked out. The door just opened slightly, about 6 inches, then closed again after 4 seconds. I replayed it 5 times. The door opened from the inside, paused, closed, like someone was checking to see if anyone was outside. I scrolled forward. At 2:13 a.m., the door opened again. This time it stayed open for 9 seconds. I could see a sliver of our entryway, the edge of the coat closet. Then it closed. The next night showed the same pattern. Door opening slightly at 1:52 a.m., closing, opening again at 2:20 a.m. for a few seconds. Someone was in my house. Someone had been in my house for at least 8 nights, living here while we slept, leaving through the front door in the middle of the night and coming back. I sat down at the kitchen table because my legs wouldn't hold me anymore. My hands were shaking as I called my husband. He answered immediately. What's wrong? You sound weird. I need you to come home right now. Are you hurt? What happened? Someone's been in our house, living here. I can see them on the Ring camera. I'm calling the police. I'm 20 minutes away. Don't go anywhere. Stay on the phone with me. I'm fine. Just come home. I hung up and dialed 911. 2 officers arrived within 15 minutes. I showed them the Netflix profile, the iPad, the Ring footage. They searched every room, every closet, the attic, the basement, the garage. They found nothing. No sign of forced entry, no evidence anyone was hiding in the house right now. One of the officers, a woman with dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, sat down across from me at the kitchen table. Ma'am, is there anyone who has access to your home? Anyone who might have kept a key? No, just me, my husband, and our son. What about previous owners? House sitters? Dog walkers? We've lived here for 6 years. We changed the locks when we moved in. We don't have pets. The officer made notes on a small pad. What about your son? Could he have given a key to a friend? David's at college, and he wouldn't do that without telling us. The officer looked at the iPad again, scrolling through the guest profile. This person has very specific viewing habits. Always late at night. Always while you're presumably asleep. They're comfortable here. They know your schedule. Her words made my skin crawl. My husband arrived while the officers were still there. He listened to everything, his face getting paler with each detail. The officers said they'd file a report and increase patrols in our neighborhood. They recommended we change our locks immediately and consider installing more cameras inside the house. After they left, my husband and I sat in the living room, not saying anything for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Maybe it's someone who had access before we bought the place. Maybe they kept a key. We changed the lock 6 years ago. Then I don't know. Maybe they found a way in through a window or something. The officers checked everything. No forced entry. We sat in silence again. I couldn't stop thinking about those nights. Someone moving through our house while we slept upstairs. Someone sitting in our kitchen watching Netflix on our iPad. Someone opening our front door at 2 a.m. to check if the coast was clear. That night, neither of us slept. We kept the bedroom door locked and took turns staying awake to listen for sounds. The house settled and creaked like it always did, but every noise felt threatening. Every shadow looked wrong. At 1:30 a.m., I crept downstairs with my phone flashlight and checked the iPad. The guest profile showed no new activity. I sat at the kitchen table in the dark and waited. Nothing happened. The next morning, we had new locks installed on every door. We added cameras in the kitchen, living room, and both hallways. The technician who installed them asked if we'd had a break-in. We told him yes, even though nothing had been taken. Even though the only evidence was Netflix activity and ring footage of our own door opening from the inside. That afternoon, I couldn't focus on anything. I kept checking the camera feeds on my phone every few minutes. The house stayed empty, except for me. At 3 p.m., I opened the Netflix app again and looked at the guest profile. No new activity since the day before, when it had been paused at 34 minutes. I clicked on the account settings and hovered my cursor over the delete profile button. Then I stopped. If I deleted it, I'd lose the ability to track if this person came back. I left it active and added a password requirement for profile switching instead. Now they'd need to enter a PIN to access the guest profile. If they tried and failed, I'd know someone was still attempting to use it. 3 days passed with no activity. No unexplained door openings on the Ring camera. No movement on the new interior cameras. No attempts to access the guest profile. My husband suggested maybe whoever it was had gotten scared off when they realized we'd noticed. Maybe they saw the new cameras or the locksmith's truck and decided it wasn't safe anymore. I wanted to believe him. On the 4th night, I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone when I got a notification from Netflix. Someone was watching. I opened the app. The guest profile was streaming a true crime documentary. Started 3 minutes ago. I jumped out of bed and grabbed my husband's arm. He woke up confused and groggy until I showed him my phone. We both ran downstairs, turning on every light as we went. The living room was empty. The kitchen was empty. I checked the iPad. The screen was black. I tapped it and it showed the home screen, not Netflix. I pulled up the new camera feeds on my phone. All of them showed empty rooms with timestamp from the past 30 seconds. Nobody was in our house, but someone was watching Netflix on our account right now. My husband looked over my shoulder at my phone where the Netflix app still showed the guest profile streaming. How is this possible? They're not in the house. I checked the account activity log on my laptop. The current session showed it was streaming from a device listed as David's iPad. But David's iPad was right here on our kitchen counter. Screen dark, not connected to anything. I grabbed it and opened Netflix. The app showed my profile, not guest. The documentary that was supposedly streaming wasn't playing. Where else could they be watching from? My husband's face was pale in the kitchen light. I don't know. Unless there's another device we don't know about. Another iPad that's registered under the same name. We bought David's iPad 4 years ago when he started college. We never registered another one. I went back to the Netflix account settings and looked at the full device list. There were 5 devices authorized. Our smart TV, my laptop, my phone, my husband's phone, and 1 iPad listed as David's iPad. I'd been assuming it was the iPad in our kitchen. But what if it wasn't? What if someone else had a device that had been logged in years ago before I changed the password? A device we'd forgotten about. I tried to remember. Had we ever had another iPad? Had David had one before college? My mind felt foggy trying to recall details from years ago. Then something clicked. We'd had an iPad before David's. An older one that I'd bought for myself in 2019. When I upgraded to a laptop, I'd given the old iPad to someone. My daughter. My missing daughter. Lily had been 16 when she disappeared 4 years ago. She'd walked out of this house one afternoon after an argument and never came back. The police had searched for months. We'd done everything. Put up flyers, hired a private investigator, appeared on local news. Nothing. No trace of her. No activity on her bank account or social media. No sightings. It was like she'd vanished. The iPad I'd given her had been logged into our family Netflix account. I'd forgotten about it because we'd stopped thinking about Netflix and started thinking about whether our daughter was alive or dead. The documentary continued playing on the guest profile. I stood in my kitchen at 2 a.m., staring at my phone, realizing that my missing daughter might be watching Netflix right now, using a profile she'd created to hide her activity from us. checking our house through the front door on nights when she needed something or wanted to see if we were home. My husband saw my face and knew something had changed. What is it? I think it's Lily. I think she's been here. I think she's the one watching. He stared at me. That's impossible. She's been gone for 4 years. I never deleted her iPad from our account. The device that's streaming right now, it could be hers. The old one I gave her before she left. Why would she create a guest profile? Why wouldn't she just use her own? Maybe she didn't want us to know it was her. Maybe she was afraid we'd track her down or try to find her. His expression shifted from disbelief to something else. Hope, maybe, or fear. How do we know for sure? I opened the Netflix app and went to the guest profile settings. There was an option to manage devices for that specific profile. I clicked it. The device currently streaming was listed with a unique identifier code and the name David's iPad, but the model number showed it was an iPad Air 2. David's iPad was a Pro, the one in our kitchen. The device that was streaming was the old one, Lily's. I sat down at the table because my legs couldn't hold me anymore. My daughter had been watching Netflix on our account for 11 days. She'd been in our house at least 8 nights ago, opening the front door in the middle of the night. She was somewhere close enough to access our account, close enough to visit. My husband paced the kitchen. If it's really her, why hasn't she contacted us? Why is she sneaking around instead of just coming home? I don't know. Maybe she's scared. Maybe she's not ready. Maybe something happened that makes her afraid to come back. What do? Do we try to message her through Netflix somehow? Can we do that? I don't think Netflix has a messaging feature, but we can use the profile itself. We can add something to the name or the watch list. Something only she would understand. I grabbed my laptop and logged into Netflix. I navigated to the guest profile and clicked edit. The name field showed guest. I deleted it and typed, Lily, we love you. Please come home. Mom and Dad. I saved the change and refreshed the page. The profile now displayed our message instead of guest. The documentary was still streaming. We waited. The documentary played for another 12 minutes, then stopped. The profile went inactive. I checked every few minutes for the next hour, but nothing changed. No response. No new activity. Just our message sitting there in the profile name. At 4 a.m., we finally went back to bed, though neither of us slept. The next morning, I checked Netflix before I even got out of bed. The profile name had been changed. It now read, I can't. I'm sorry. My hands were shaking as I showed my husband. She responded, she saw it. It's really her. She's alive. But she's not coming home. Why? What happened? What's keeping her away? I changed the profile name again. Whatever it is, we can work through it. Just tell us where you are. I watched the profile for the next 3 hours. No response, no activity. I had to leave for work, but I couldn't focus on anything. I kept my phone on my desk, refreshing Netflix every few minutes. At 2:30 p.m., the profile name changed again. You wouldn't understand. It's better this way. I immediately typed back through the laptop at my office. Try us. Nothing matters except you being safe. Please. The response came faster this time. I'm safe. I just can't be your daughter anymore. The words felt like a punch to the chest. I called my husband and read him the messages. His voice broke when he spoke. What does that mean? She can't be our daughter? What happened to her? I don't know, but we need to figure out how to get her to talk to us. We need to keep the conversation going. He agreed. Over the next 2 days, we had a slow, stilted conversation through Netflix profile name changes. Each message was limited to the character count for profile names, so everything came out fragmented and incomplete. We asked where she was. She said, close enough to see you sometimes. We asked if she was hurt. She said, not anymore. We asked what happened 4 years ago. She said, I had to leave. You wouldn't have let me go if I told you. We asked what she meant. She said, some things can't be explained. Some things just are. The conversation felt like pulling teeth. Every answer created more questions. Every response was vague enough to mean anything or nothing. On the 3rd day, I changed my approach. Can we meet? Just to see you. Just to know you're okay. The response took 4 hours to come. I don't know. Progress? Not a no. I replied, anywhere you want, anywhere you feel safe. We just need to see your face. Another long wait. Then, maybe. I need time to think. That night, the guest profile streamed a cooking show for 2 hours. I watched the activity in real time, knowing my daughter was somewhere within range of our Wi-Fi or using a hotspot, watching our TV, existing in a space I couldn't see or reach. The next morning, I found a new message. Thursday, 3 p.m. The park on Oakwood, the bench by the fountain. Just you, not Dad, not the police. Just you or I disappear again. I replied immediately. I'll be there. Thank you. I love you. No response. I told my husband. He wanted to come. Wanted to hide nearby in case something went wrong. Wanted to call the police to have them stationed around the park. I refused. If Lily saw anyone else, she'd run. We'd lose her again. He reluctantly agreed to stay home. The next 3 days were the longest of my life. I kept checking the guest profile obsessively. She watched Netflix every night. Always late. Always the same types of shows. I wanted to message her again, to confirm she was still planning to meet me, but I was afraid of pushing too hard and scaring her off. On Wednesday night, a new message appeared. Don't try to follow me after. Don't try to find where I go. I'll only do this once. I responded, I promise. I just want to see you. Thursday afternoon, I arrived at the park at 2:45 p.m. The bench by the fountain was empty. I sat down and waited. At exactly 3 p.m., I saw her walking across the grass from the parking lot. She looked different. Older, obviously, but also thinner. Her hair cut short and dyed dark instead of the long blonde she'd had at 16. She wore jeans and an oversized hoodie despite the warm weather. She stopped about 10 feet away from the bench. I stood up. Neither of us moved for what felt like an hour, but was probably only 10 seconds. Lily. She nodded slightly. Hey, Mom. Her voice was the same. That's what broke me. I started crying before I could stop myself. She stayed where she was, not coming closer. I'm not coming back. I know. I saw your message. I just needed to see you. Needed to know you were alive and okay. I'm alive. I'm okay. Where have you been? Living different places. Figuring things out. What happened? Why did you leave? She looked away, focusing on the fountain. I can't explain it in a way you'd accept. Try me, please. She was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. Do you remember that argument we had the day I left? About college and my future and all your expectations? I nodded. You wanted me to apply to medical school. You had my whole life planned out. Yeah. She looked back at me. That wasn't the real reason I left. Then what was? She shoved her hands into her hoodie pockets. I was drowning in your house, in your life, in the person you wanted me to be. I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't exist as that version of myself. So, I left. You could have talked to us. We could have worked something out. No, we couldn't have. Because you would have convinced me to stay. You would have made it make sense in some logical way. You would have fixed it without actually fixing anything. I wiped my face with my sleeve. So you just vanished? You let us think you were dead? You let us search for you for months? She flinched. I know that was horrible. I'm sorry, but if I'd told you I was leaving, you wouldn't have let me go. You would have called the police or locked me in my room or sent me to therapy. You would have done anything except let me leave. I wanted to argue, but she was right. I would have done all of those things. I wouldn't have let my 16-year-old daughter walk away into nothing. Where did you go? Friends' places at first? Then shelters? Then I got a job and found a room to rent. I've been moving around, working odd jobs, staying under the radar. You're 20 years old. You should be in college. You should be building a future. This is my future. This is the life I chose. Living alone, working odd jobs, hiding from your family? Yes, because it's mine. Because I'm making my own choices, not following someone else's script. I sat back down on the bench. She stayed standing. Did we really make you that miserable? It wasn't about misery. It was about suffocation. It was about being trapped in a life that wasn't mine. What about now? Are you happy? She thought about it. I'm figuring it out. Some days are good. Some days are hard. But they're my days. They're my choices. That's what matters. Can I see you again? After this? She shook her head. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Because seeing you makes this harder. Because I spent 4 years building a life separate from you. And coming back even for an hour, tears at that. I felt tears starting again. You're my daughter. I love you. I need to know you're okay. I know. I love you too. But love doesn't mean we have to be in each other's lives. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. You just don't want to accept it. The fountain behind us splashed water in rhythmic patterns. People walked past on the path, oblivious to the conversation happening on the bench. I tried to think of something to say that would make her stay, make her change her mind, make her come home. Nothing came. She checked her phone. I need to go. Wait, please. Just a few more minutes. I already stayed longer than I should have. Can I at least have your number? Some way to contact you? She hesitated, then pulled out her phone. I'll text you from a number I don't use much. Don't try to trace it or find me through it. I just want to talk sometimes. I promise. My phone buzzed a moment later with a message from an unknown number. This is Lily. I saved it immediately. She put her phone away and looked at me one more time. Thank you for not bringing Dad or the police. I kept my promise. I know. That means something. She started walking backward toward the parking lot. I stayed on the bench and watched her go. She didn't look back. She reached a blue sedan, got in, and drove away. I sat there until the sun started setting, replaying every word of our conversation. When I got home, my husband was waiting in the living room. He stood up the moment I walked in. Well, I saw her. She's alive. She's okay. Is she coming home? Number. Why not? She doesn't want to. She's building her own life. She doesn't want us in it. His face crumpled. I told him everything. The conversation, her reasons, her refusal to come back. We held each other and cried for the daughter who was alive, but had chosen to stay lost. That night, I checked the Netflix guest profile. It was still active. At 11:30 p.m., it started streaming a reality show I'd never heard of. I watched the activity marker, knowing my daughter was somewhere out there, watching the same account, connected to us in this small digital way, even as she stayed physically distant. Over the next few weeks, we texted occasionally. She never told me where she lived or what she did for work. She never sent photos or agreed to meet again, but she responded when I said good morning. She sent a heart emoji when I told her I loved her. She existed in my life as a ghost, present but untouchable. The Netflix profile stayed active. I never changed the name back or deleted it. Some nights I'd see her watching something late at night and I'd put on the same show on my TV, and we'd be watching together across whatever distance separated us. My husband struggled more than I did. He wanted answers, wanted solutions, wanted to fix what was broken. But there was nothing to fix. Our daughter had made a choice. She'd chosen a life without us, and we had to learn to live with that. 6 months after the park meeting, I got a text. I'm thinking about going back to school. Online classes, maybe eventually a degree. I responded, that's wonderful. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Mom. It was the first time she'd called me Mom in a text. Small progress, but progress nonetheless. The guest profile continued to show activity. Always late at night. Always the same types of shows. A constant reminder that somewhere out there, my daughter was alive, was watching, was thinking of us even if she wouldn't come home. I learned to find peace in that. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was what I had. Some nights, I still cried. Some nights, my husband and I talked about what we could have done differently. But mostly we learned to accept that love doesn't always look the way we expect it to. Sometimes it looks like a Netflix profile. Sometimes it looks like occasional text messages. Sometimes it looks like watching the same show at the same time, separated by distance but connected by something as simple as a shared account. Netflix had helped me find my missing daughter. Not in the way I'd imagined. Not with a happy reunion and a return home, but with proof of life, proof of presence, proof that she was out there making her own choices and living her own days. It wasn't enough, but somehow it had to be. Appreciate you watching this far. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe so you won't miss the next story.